a fairly conservative culture, conservative environment. We certainly do have a number of church-related majors, but also would have some more of the more typical majors you would expect: business, education, psychology. In fact, education is one of our largest majors on campus.
We're hanging out at Lake Country Soccer in Springfield, where you're attending the college showcase event, and the reason we're talking is to talk about college recruiting.
Sure.
You've made the trip up here. You've had some success finding a couple players over the last couple of years.
Yes, we had. I did recruit had one come play for us just a couple of years ago. Came out and did well. Actually started quite a few games as a freshman for us. So I know an event like this, and this particular one, can be successful, and it's a good chance to maybe make contact with a coach for the first time, let them actually see what you can do, especially this time of year when it's cold and there's not a lot going on.
Not as many if you're not attending the college showcase events for the D1 prospects, for example. What the intent of this conversation is to talk about the recruiting cycle. What is a standard recruiting cycle the kid from Springfield might expect working with you?
Well, of course, Missouri plays in the fall, as we do. It's a little different in Arkansas because Arkansas's season is in the spring.
Right.
But of course, in the fall, around the college program, I'm going to try to see as many games as I can in Missouri. And
so you'll attend high school soccer boys games?
I will attend, sure. I will attend some games when I can, and that's a good measure. I always like to do that. Different coaches I know use a different percentage of seeing them play versus coming for a tryout. Some require both. I usually don't require both. It's sometimes difficult for traveling and all, and if I can go and watch a player play, oftentimes that's sufficient.
Well, you mentioned tryouts. That's not something that a D1 program can do. Is that? But within NAIA, a kid could contact you and come down for a tryout?
Yes, and in NAIA they can come and try out.
Does that mean actually playing with the team and getting to know the team then?
Sure, they can work out.
So that's the type of cycle they might go for.
They can do that, come and try out, and that helps them also meet the players and kind of get a feel for the team.
For the team and the school.
Right,
and the
now they do have to be careful, of course, and they cannot do that in season.
Not when they're actually playing high school.
Right.
But for now, for a kid, it's February. They still don't have a position. They could go visit any NAI school they wanted and actually try out and get to visit the campus. How do they reach out to you? What's the recommended process?
Most initial contacts I receive are probably through an email, which is probably the best. To send an email if there's some contact of some sort, somebody you knew or somebody mentioned us. It's always nice to kind of make a connection of some sort.
Right.
I had a friend that went to Williams even is sometimes helpful, or in our case, we often hear it through a church, for instance. Our youth minister knew something about Williams. That helps us out because it helps us know you've got some contact with a college beyond just, I want to just come play soccer and I want to find anywhere I can go. If you're a good enough player, that maybe grounds enough. But we're looking for players who are not just going to play soccer, but are going to fill into the college. They're going to fit into the environment of the college, the culture of the college, be involved as a student. It takes a lot of time and energy to go through the whole process and come to college. We want you to stay for the effort it took you and for the effort it took us. And that works out better if you fit into the college beyond just the soccer program. And so if you have some connection to the college, that's helpful, and I would mention that. Obviously, telling you a little bit about yourself, a little bit about your soccer background is helpful. Grades are also helpful. It's pointless if you don't have the eligibility requirements.
One of the things that sounds NAIA is a bit different, obviously, is what I'm learning. But I know that soccer camps and soccer videos are two possibilities that kids consider or parents will contact me about. Tell me about soccer videos. Have you ever actually had any success? Is that a valuable tool?
I have had limited success. It honestly,
with
most,
a video?
Yes, with most videos, especially game video that people send me,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe it's just me, I have a hard time seeing what's going on.
Who the player is, if there's
Where's
enough.
the player, most are taken at ground level, and you have no real sense of what's happening.
The context of the game or how the player's responding.
Very difficult.
What about camps? Do you work at camps?
I don't do a lot of that. I know a lot
Mm-hmm.
do, and because of my setup, I don't do a whole lot
Right.
of that. But I know many do, and many rely on that as a way of finding players and seeing players for the first time. So I know that's can be a good opportunity for a player to go and be seen in a lot of different situations.
College showcase tournaments. Boys will be playing high school club soccer at this stage of the game, and they're signed up for 3 or 4 college showcases at this point. Is that an active recruiting tool for you at your program? And
I do try to go. I do try to go and see those. Those can be helpful.
somewhere in the region, St. Louis,
Sure.
Memphis,
Sure.
Little Rock, areas of that nature?
Yes. Those would be probably about the furthest that I would go to.
Okay.
Yes, those can be very helpful. There's a lot of players. It's often difficult because there's so many players at some of these events. It's hard to kind of stand out. But that's why, especially if you had some contact before a showcase, it's far better. I can go to a showcase and say, okay, I'm looking at this player.
Right.
If I'm nothing, the chances of you just standing out are not near as high.
Right. So summarizing, learn about a program in a school first and foremost, and if there's an interest in that program, reach out to the coach.
Sure.